The decision-making process. So this diagram by McKinsey describes the decision-making process the customer goes through. And I'm a real big fan of this diagram, actually. It's been around many years and I think it's very important. So let's have a look through it. So just a quick overview first. So you can see here, number one is customer considers the initial set of brands. Number two, they're deciding on what they want to do. So there's an evaluation process. Three, the customer gets to a point where they need to make a decision. Then once they go through that decision-making process, see that post-purchase experience. Do you remember the SRAM process, post-purchase experience? Can you see how important that is to the customer? What was it like after the purchase? So after they made a purchase, what was it like and how did it impact them? And then when they get to that point again where they need to make another purchase, what happens next in the loyalty loop? What is the process? Do they decide to buy the same product again or do they go elsewhere? So let me give you an example of this. So here, number one, the consumer considers an initial set of brands based on the perceptions and exposure to recent touch points. So an example I'll give you is the first time I bought an iPhone. So the first time I bought an iPhone, I was thinking, do I go down the Samsung route? Do I go down the iPhone route? Or which one do I select? So basically, this is where I was. So at this initial consideration stage, I was thinking iPhone or Samsung. Then I went through this active evaluation. I heard the stories about the Apple ecosystem. They tried to suck you in, and then you stuck with them. And then I looked at the Google Play Store. Apparently, there was 3 times more Play Store apps than there was iPhone apps. And so this is where I was. Could the consumer adds or subtracts brands as they feel as they evaluate. So I was evaluating like, no, I shouldn't buy iPhone, I should buy Samsung, and I'm going back and forth. So I'm basically gathering information at this stage. So I've still not made my decision, but I'm kind of leaning one way or another. Then number three, ultimately the customer selects a brand at the moment of purchase. So this was my choice. So what did I decide? So what was my moment of purchase? And I'll tell you mine. Mine was when I was walking through, basically here in Manchester, we have the Trafford Centre. In London, they have Westfield, and of course around the world, they'll have many different malls and supermarkets, or not supermarkets, malls and shopping centres. So as I was walking through it, I walked past the Apple store and I thought to myself, if there is ever a problem with my phone, I'm going to bring it here. I didn't at the time, there was no Samsung store. And I thought, if I had a Samsung phone, where am I going to take it back? Who is going to take responsibility? And I don't want to go to the supermarket and the supermarket says, well, it's a Samsung's fault. And then I go to Samsung and they'll say, go back to where you bought it from. And I thought, well, if I'm buying an Apple phone and there's an Apple store, so that kind of feels okay. So then I'm at that moment of purchase. I bought my Apple iPhone. So now what was it like, the post-purchase experience? So it says here, after purchasing a product or service, the consumer builds expectations based on their experience to inform the next decision journey. So here, what does it feel like? Am I trapped in the Apple ecosystem or am I actually enjoying it or what's basically going on? And this post-purchase experience, let me tell you, it was amazing. They sent me emails, invited me into the local Apple store, showed me how to use my phone, got me a coffee, sat me down on the table. There was like a nice group of us showing us how to use the phone, how to add things to our diary. I mean, amazing experience. And I was like, this is really good. No wonder Apple costs so much. I mean, it is a, I suppose, I don't want to call it a premium product, but I suppose in a way it is a premium product, but it was a more expensive product than the Samsung would have been. And I was like, this is really good. And then I enjoyed the experience. I remember once I was in, but the battery used to always run out, didn't it? And then the early days, and then so once I was shopping in the Trafford Centre, and I went to the Apple store, and I just said, "Sorry, mate, and my phone's running out." He says, "Yeah, sure, just sit down, plug it in, and just use your phone and charge it up." And I thought, didn't ask me if I wanted to buy anything, didn't have to check with his boss, nothing like that. Just said, Kaz, take a seat, and unplugged one of the store phones, plugged mine in, and just said, fine. I didn't have to do it all cloak and dagger and secretly like no one's watching. I'll plug my own phone in, nothing like that. And then I remember another occasion, I was on my day off from work and a customer texts me and says, "Can you send me the spreadsheet? You've not done it today." And I was like, "Oh God, I'm just in the middle of the Trafford Centre, kind of enjoying my day off, um, and they've asked me for this work I've not done." So I thought, I'm gonna have to go home, or what am I gonna do? And I think at that time, you didn't have access to OneDrive on your phone, so you had to kind of download it and send it by email. So I went to the Apple store and I just said to him, "Can I use your computer?" And tried to kind of give him a sob story, which I mean, it was a sob story because I was on my day off. He says, "Yeah, sure, Kaz, take a seat." He says, "If you want, sit there, plug your phone on charge while you're doing it." He says, "The only thing to watch out for is these are public computers, so obviously your data is not secure. So obviously, if someone walks past you while you're typing in your password or whatever, just be careful." And I was like, "Is that it?" He says, "Yeah." And I says, "Oh, promise I'll only be 15 minutes." He says, "Take your time." So I sat there for about 45 minutes, downloading this Excel spreadsheet, logging into my work email, sending this email to my customer, texting the customer to say, "Yeah, no problem, I'll send it to you now," and just sent it. And I thought, what an amazing experience. And then now, and then when I got to the next trigger point, and it was like a couple of years down the line, and I needed an upgrade to my phone, what was my decision? Straight into that loyalty loop. I didn't even consider Samsung for a second. And now I'm stuck in this loyalty loop. So I'm talking what? So I got my first iPhone in around 2012, 2011, something like that. And I've been stuck in that loyalty loop ever since because they looked after me so much at this number 4 stage of post-purchase experience. Even if someone gave me a Samsung phone for free now, a brand new one, I still wouldn't take it because I'm so happy with the way Apple treated me. I'm sure it's different now. I don't think you quite get coffees and has to be sat down in the stores and stuff. But I'm sure that, I mean, they still have these Genius bars and they still look after you. I mean, to what extent, I don't know. But you can see now, every time I get to this trigger point, so now I'm in this loyalty loop, and that's what we want to do. So the SRAM process talks about that post-purchase experience, so that customer relationship management process right in the middle. Remember, it doesn't just do the consider and the stage of where you're actually making the purchase. We go post purchase, and that's how we maintain a relationship. The Apple process of me, they didn't just give me iPhone, take my money, and say, "Cheers, Cass, see you later." They looked after me so much that I'm still telling the story over a decade later. So you can see now that how this decision making process of a customer, if we understand it, which obviously Apple seem to have done, now I'm in that loyalty loop. They don't even need to advertise for me. So every couple of years, I just know that usually in September or October, they usually release a new phone. That's about all I know. So this is the McKinsey diagram, and it obviously gives you the process of the customer journey.